Center. We're going to teach a little bit about flying today for our Period 5 photography class. Okay, first thing we got to do before each flight is to go through our pre-flight check. That involves checking the entire airplane over to make sure it's airworthy. That's the responsibility of the pilot in command, which is yours truly. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is check the engine and the propeller, which is right here. You want to check the propeller for any nicks or cuts or cracks. See that it doesn't have any cracks in it. You want to check the belts in here, make sure they're on tightly. It looks in working order that way. Next thing we're going to do is come over here, step up on this here, and we're going to check our fuel supply to make sure that the fuel supply is right pressure. You always want to visually check your fuel supply because sometimes the gauges in the plane don't work quite as well as you want them to. Fuel says we're okay, and it's full on this side. This is our stall warning, just in case it gets slow. We want to make sure nothing's blocking that, so the air gets through there. This is our tote tube, which is the airspeed indicator, provides ram air for the airspeed. Come here is another stall warning here. You need to take this tie down off. Got a little bit of crosswind today. It should be interesting. Probably a little bit bumpy up there. I think we'll be all right. Okay, we'll check the leading edge, make sure there's no bad cracks or bumps. We'll walk around this side, check our light here to make sure it's in working order. Come back here to our control surfaces. This is what's called an aileron. It's controlled by the control wheel inside the airplane, and it makes the airplane blank, helps it turn. You want to check it moves up and down right. You got your pins in there, so they all hold in there nicely. We'll come over here and we'll check our flaps. These flaps are controlled. You can put them at 10 degrees, 20 degrees, and 30. When you use them for landing mostly, they slow down the airplane and shorten the glide path. Check that they're nice and tight. We'll step underneath the airplane right here. We'll get our fuel sample right there. This fuel sample, bring it out here. Check to see. It looks like fuel. Doesn't have any water or sediment in it. It smells like fuel. Dump that out. We'll walk back part of the fuselage. Check that it doesn't have any bad bumps or cracks in it. This is our elevator. This controls the pitch of the airplane, either up or down. It looks like it's working. The rudder here is controlled by the pedals inside the airplane. It also helps you turn. Get the tail tied down. Same thing as we did on the other side. We check the fuselage, walk up here, check our flaps, get our fuel sample from underneath the wing. Check to make sure it doesn't have any water in it. Pump it out. Check our aileron. We're working. On this side. Check our lights, the leading edge. Fuel drain underneath the airplane. We're going to get one more fuel sample. Make sure it doesn't have any sediment in it. Dump it out. And check our fuel supply on the right wing. Okay, we show that that's full. Now we're going to come right here. We're going to check our fuel strainer. Fuel will come out the bottom. Make sure any water or sediment comes out of it. Check our oil. Show right about 5 quarts, which is the operating level for the oil. Okay. Got all our tie downs on. We need to take our chocks out. This airplane will want to sit here. Throw them back here. We're ready to fly. See you. Pre-flight check. Alright, now we're inside the airplane. I'm gonna teach you a little bit about the instruments and controls that are inside the airplane. It tells us obviously how fast we're going. This one is the altimeter and it also is the attitude indicator actually, and it shows the airplane. It has a miniature airplane. It shows its attitude relative to the horizon. This is our altimeter. It shows us how high we are above mean sea level. This is a VOR, which is used for radio navigation. Down here, we have a turn and bank coordinator, which shows that we're using coordinated rudder and aileron pressure. This is our compass, and our vertical speed indicator, which shows us how fast or how slow we're climbing or descending. We have our radios here. This is the VOR radio, and our transponder, which shows us up on radar. And we have an RPM gauge. Down here we have our ignition switch, our electrical switch, our carburetor heat, which is used mainly for landing to clear ice out of the carburetor, our throttle, our mixture for air and fuel, our wing flaps, and our cabin and heater. Our controls are the control wheel here, which control the ailerons on the outside there, which you can see moving back and forth, and also the elevator in the back of the plane. You can also see the rudder moving with the pedals. And you can see those pedals right here, down below. Okay, we're ready to fly, and we'll see you right before takeoff. Start now. Okay, we're taxiing now. We're getting ready to do our pre-flight check. We're coming here to the end of the runway. We're going to get here to the parking area, and we're going to go ahead and do our pre-flight checklist. Off to our right here. Our runway's off to our right here. I'll close my window so it can be a little bit quieter. Okay. We'll have to get our checklist out here. Make sure we do everything right. Okay, first thing's cabin doors. They're closed and latched. We got our flight controls. We want to move them in all directions to make sure they are free and correct. They are working. We want to make our flight instruments so they're correct. We have the altimeter. We have to adjust that to pressure. We're going to adjust our compass here. Let me get this thing on. Adjust our compass here. And everything else looks like it's all right. Take our fuel shutoff valve, which is on. We'll move our trim, so we're going to takeoff position. And now what we're going to do is wind the throttle up to about 1700 revs to make sure our magnetos are working right. And those are they're like alternators that charge up the battery. So it might get a little bit loud, but just hang with us. Okay, we check the left magneto. Check the right magneto. We'll check our carburetor heat. Seems like it's working all right. All right, we'll push it back in. We'll pull the throttle back. Pull our cabin air on because I am hot. Hot out here today. Okay, we're about second in line for takeoff. Right now we got a plane coming in on final approach. So we're going to be taking off right after he gets in here. Okay, when we take off, we're going to be lifting off right about the airspeed indicator is going to be right about between 50 and 60 knots. That's right a little bit higher in miles per hour. You can see the crosswind blowing that plane around. He's banking his right wing down to correct for that crosswind. He's coming in there kind of nice. It's bouncing around a little bit because of the wind is kicked up by the buildings off to the right here. He'll just take it right in there. And he'll land it right on down the runway. Alrighty, now we're next in line for takeoff, and I'll turn on my transponder.
Yeah, yes, sir. I think it's 7.
And I'm going to tell the traffic here at Union County Airport that we are going to take off on runway 27. This airplane is called 144. Goes a little bit like this. Union County traffic 144 is departing 27, Union County. Okay, well now we're going to wind up our throttle. We're going to move right out here on the runway, getting ready for takeoff. We'll check out there in the air, make sure there's nobody coming. I don't see anybody. So we're getting ready to take off now. We'll line ourselves up with the center line of the runway here. We got a little bit of crosswind, so we'll get our correction in for that. And we'll wind her up and go. Okay, we're leveled off right now, right about 2,000 feet. And we're going to show you a little bit about turning the airplane. We're just going to add coordinated control wheel and rudder pressure. First of all, we'll do a turn to the left. We'll just bank it around just like this. Just keep our altitude and our airspeed correct. We can roll out just like that. We're back to straight and level. It's raining a little bit out here today. It's not the best day to fly, but hey, we're all right. Okay, we'll roll a little bit to the right here. You bank it around. Just using control wheel pressure and coordinated rudder pressure with that. Keeping our eye on our altitude and our airspeed. We'll level off here. And that's basically how you turn an airplane. If you want to climb an airplane, what you need to do is just advance the throttle and just pull up, and your good climb speed is right about 70. So you just advance the throttle. And we'll climb up to about 2,200 feet. Doesn't take that long to get there. And when we get up there, we'll just go ahead and pull the power back and get back to cruise. That's how you, yeah. Okay, now we're back at cruise, and if we want to descend, we just pull the power back and push the nose down, which is basically how you descend an airplane for landing. Okay, it looks pretty nice out here today. We got a lot of clouds, but other than that, it looks pretty nice. The view from up here is just unbelievable, that's for sure. Okay, since it's not the best of days, I think we're going to go ahead and turn around and go back to the airport. We're going to show you how to land here, and we'll see you when we get back to the airport. Okay, we're getting ready to land here. We're bouncing around a little bit. You see the runway off to my left. We're on a downwind leg, which is what they call it. When we get down here, we're going to apply our carburetor heat to clear out any ice that might have formed. And then we're going to pull the power back, and we're just going to glide right on in there. About now, we're going to pull our power back. It's going to get real quiet. We're going to trim the airplane so I can relieve the control wheel pressure. We'll put some of our flaps down. And we're going to glide it right on in there. You can tell how quiet it got all of a sudden, that's for sure. We're going to bank around here. We're bouncing around a little bit, but that's all right. We got a nice crosswind that we have to deal with here in a second. We're going right into it right now. We'll come some more with the flaps to slow us down a little bit. You can see the runway here off to my left. We're going right down into it. It might get a little bouncy on final because of the wind, but hey, you have that when you're flying, that's for sure. Add a little bit more power. It's not good to be floating around here without power in this wind, that's for sure. Okay, we're going to go ahead and turn on final right now. Down the flaps and our heat will come on. Pull our power back a little bit. And we'll take it right on down there. Start to pull back here as we land so we don't get any bump, and there we are back in Marysville. We're going to turn off up here and we're going to glide it right back on in there. We'll go down here the next taxi. We're going a little bit too fast for the turning off there. Got a nice wind out here, so we got to be careful taxiing. This thing will flip right over on its back, that's for sure. Turn it right on in here. Alright, now you guys know a little bit about flying. Today wasn't the best day for it, but you know, we got it taken care of, and I'm glad you were with us. Hopefully you can enjoy flying later on in your lives. It's a really neat thing to get into.